Hey everyone, welcome back. Sending you all the biggest virtual hug and my warmest wishes for amazing health, happiness, and strength in your daily adventures. Seriously, taking time to explore our incredible planet together is a gift, and I hope you're feeling energized and well today. Now, get ready for something that sounds like science fiction, but is 100% real. Imagine standing on a spot in Africa where you can literally see the Earth cracking open. Not just a little crack, but a colossal tear in the planet's skin so vast it stretches for thousands of kilometers, reshaping entire countries as we speak. This isn't a disaster movie plot, it's the Great Rift Valley, one of the most awe-inspiring geological wonders on Earth. This is where continents are born, where volcanoes roar to life, and where the very ground beneath your feet is slowly, unstoppably being ripped apart. Let's journey to the place where Africa is splitting in two. So, what exactly is the Great Rift Valley? Picture a gigantic scar on the Earth's surface. But instead of healing, this scar is getting wider and deeper every single year. It's not one single canyon or cliff, it's a massive network of valleys, trenches, mountains, and volcanic fields that runs like a branching crack across East Africa, from the Red Sea down to Mozambique. In some places, it's dozens of kilometers wide. In others, it drops down into sheer cliffs taller than skyscrapers. If you looked at it from space, it would look like Africa is slowly being unzipped from the north to the south. This isn't ancient history, it's happening right now at roughly the speed your fingernails grow. But over millions of years, that slow creep adds up to a continental-scale revolution. Why is this happening? It all comes down to the Earth's restless, shifting outer layer. Our planet's crust isn't one solid shell. It's broken into giant, rocky slabs called tectonic plates. These plates are constantly moving, grinding past each other, colliding, or, in this case, pulling apart. The Great Rift Valley is where the African plate is literally tearing itself in two. Deep beneath East Africa, immense forces are stretching the continent like warm toffee. The crust gets thinner, weaker, and finally rips. As it stretches, huge blocks of land sink down between parallel faults, giant cracks in the earth, creating those deep, dramatic valleys. Meanwhile, magma, superhot molten rock, from deep below surges up into the gap, building volcanoes and filling the valley floor with lava flows. This process is called continental rifting. It's how new oceans are born. And yes, that means Africa is slowly but surely being split into two separate landmasses. The eastern chunk, including Somalia and parts of Kenya and Ethiopia, is peeling away from the rest of the continent. Scientists call this future new plate the Somali Plate. We're talking tens of millions of years before it's fully separate, but the split has already begun. Now let's talk scale, because the numbers are mind-blowing. The Great Rift Valley system stretches over 7,000 kilometers, 4,300 miles. That's like stretching a crack from New York City to Los Angeles, and then halfway back again. It's not one straight line, it has branches. The Eastern Rift runs through Ethiopia, Kenya, and Tanzania. The Western Rift curves through Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, and down along Lake Tanganyika. In some places, the valley floor is a kilometer, over 3,000 feet, below the surrounding plateaus. Imagine standing on the edge in Kenya's Hell's Gate National Park, looking down a sheer cliff face taller than the Empire State Building into a flat, grassy plain dotted with steaming vents. That's the Rift Valley floor. The forces involved are almost unimaginable, enough to shove mountains upwards, rip valleys downwards, and fuel chains of volcanoes. And oh, the volcanoes. The Rift Valley is a geological fireworks show. As the crust thins and cracks, magma finds easy paths to the surface. This creates some of Africa's most iconic and active volcanoes. In Ethiopia, you have Erta Ale, home to one of the world's few permanent lava lakes, a bubbling, glowing cauldron of molten rock right on the valley floor. In Tanzania, the Rift Valley builds the majestic Mount Kilimanjaro, Africa's highest peak, and the explosive Mount Nyiragongo, famous for its incredibly fast-flowing, destructive lava. Kenya's Longo Knot is a perfect volcanic cone rising from the valley floor, its crater a lush green hidden world. These volcanoes aren't just scenery, they're the visible signs of the immense heat and pressure driving the continent apart. The Rift Valley is also dotted with hot springs and geysers, where scalding, mineral-rich water bubbles up from the depths, another reminder of the fiery engine below. Then there are the lakes. The Great Rift Valley holds some of the most spectacular, unique, and important lakes on the planet. Because the land is sinking, water collects in these low points, creating long, deep, often incredibly beautiful lakes. Many are soda lakes, highly alkaline and salty due to volcanic minerals washing into them. These lakes look like something from another planet. Lake Nakuru and Lake Bogoria in Kenya turn shocking shades of pink when millions of flamingos flock to feed on their algae, creating one of nature's most stunning wildlife spectacles. Lake Natron in Tanzania is so caustic it can mummify animals that fall in, yet it's the sole breeding ground for endangered lesser flamingos. Other Rift Valley lakes are freshwater giants. Lake Victoria, Africa's largest lake, fills a shallow depression in the western branch. Lake Tanganyika is the world's second deepest lake and holds nearly 20% of the Earth's unfrozen freshwater. Lake Malawi, Lake Nyasa, is famous for its dazzling array of unique fish species. These lakes aren't just pretty, they're vital sources of water, food, and transportation for millions of people. The Great Rift Valley isn't just reshaping the land, it's also the cradle of humankind. This region holds the key to understanding where we came from. The unique geology of the rift has exposed ancient rock layers and preserved fossils incredibly well. In places like Ethiopia's Afar Depression and Tanzania's Olduvai Gorge, scientists have unearthed the bones of our earliest ancestors, species like Australopithecus afarensis, famously Lucy, and early Homo species. Why here? The volcanic ash layers act like time capsules, perfectly preserving fossils. The rifting process created diverse landscapes, lakes, forests, grasslands, volcanoes that forced early humans to adapt and evolve. The valley provided corridors for migration. It's no exaggeration to say that the forces tearing Africa apart also created the perfect conditions for humanity to emerge. Standing in the Rift Valley is like standing in the very nursery of our species. What's it like to experience the Rift Valley today? It's a land of breathtaking contrasts and raw power. In Ethiopia, you can hike across the Danakil Depression, one of the hottest, lowest, and most geologically active places on Earth, a surreal landscape of sulfur springs, salt flats, and bubbling lava. In Kenya, you can stand on the escarpment edge near Nairobi, looking down into the vast, sun-drenched valley dotted with acacia trees and shimmering lakes, feeling the sheer scale of the split. You can soak in natural hot springs like Lake Baringo's baths, heated by the Earth's inner fire. You can watch earthquakes rattle the region. Small ones are frequent as the plates shift, or feel the ground vibrate near an active volcano. Life here is deeply connected to the rift. Farmers cultivate the fertile volcanic soils. Communities rely on the lakes. Roads and railways follow the valley floor because it's often the easiest path through the mountains. But living on a continent that's literally splitting apart comes with challenges. The rifting process causes earthquakes. While most are small, major quakes can and do happen, causing significant damage and loss of life. Volcanic eruptions pose real threats to nearby populations, as Nyiragongo's lava flows have shown. The changing landscape can disrupt water sources and ecosystems. As the land sinks and uplifts, it can alter river courses and lake levels. Scientists closely monitor the rift using GPS stations and seismometers, tracking the millimeter-by-millimeter movement of the plates and trying to understand the risks. Looking millions of years into the future, the Great Rift Valley's story has an epic ending. If the rifting continues, and it shows no signs of stopping, the ocean will eventually flood in. The northern part, where the rift meets the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden, is already letting seawater seep into low-lying areas like the Afar Depression. In 5 to 10 million years, the eastern chunk of Africa, the Somali Plate, could completely split off, becoming a giant island like Madagascar. Then, over tens of millions of years, a new ocean basin could form between mainland Africa and this new landmass, just like the Atlantic Ocean formed when the Americas split from Europe and Africa long ago. We are witnessing, in slow motion, the birth of a new ocean. The Great Rift Valley is a living laboratory showing us how continents break, how oceans form, and how the face of our planet is constantly, dramatically remade. So, the next time you look at a map of Africa, remember, that giant scar running down its eastern side isn't just a valley. It's a glimpse into the Earth's powerful, restless heart. It's where fire meets rock, where lakes turn pink, where humanity took its first steps, and where a new chapter in our planet's geological story is being written right now. It's a place that humbles us with its scale and reminds us that the ground we stand on is not permanent. It's part of a dynamic, ever-changing planet. The Great Rift Valley is proof that Earth is alive, breathing, and constantly reshaping itself. It's one of the most incredible sights our world has to offer. Thanks so much for exploring this wonder with me today. Take care of yourselves, stay curious, stay grounded, even if the continent isn't, and I truly hope you have a wonderful, healthy, and awe-inspiring week ahead. See you next time.